Have you ever wondered why you keep attracting the same type of person over and over again, even when you consciously know they're not good for you? Why does that emotionally unavailable person seem so irresistible, while the genuinely kind and stable person feels boring or friend zone material? If you've found yourself stuck in this frustrating cycle, feeling like you're a magnet for all the wrong people, I want you to know that you're not broken, unlucky, or doomed to repeat these patterns forever. There's actually a deep psychology behind who we attract and who we're attracted to, and once you understand these mechanisms, you can literally rewire your attraction patterns to draw in the right person for you. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will fundamentally change how you approach dating and relationships. The concept of attraction goes far deeper than physical chemistry or shared interests. At its core, attraction is our unconscious mind's way of seeking familiarity, healing, and completion. This is why we often find ourselves drawn to people who trigger the same emotional patterns we experienced in our earliest relationships, even when those patterns were unhealthy. Your unconscious mind isn't trying to sabotage you, it's trying to recreate familiar dynamics so it can finally heal them. But here's the catch. Without conscious awareness and intentional work, we usually just repeat the same painful cycles instead of healing them. Dr. Harville Hendrix's groundbreaking work on imago relationship theory reveals that we're unconsciously attracted to people who carry both the positive and negative traits of our primary caregivers. This explains why someone might feel an instant, inexplicable connection to a person who is emotionally distant, like their father was, or controlling like their mother. The unconscious hope is that this time, with this person, we'll be able to get the love and acceptance we couldn't get from our original caregiver. Unfortunately, this rarely works out the way our unconscious hopes it will. Let me tell you about Jessica, a successful marketing executive who came to me frustrated and confused. She had a pattern of attracting men who were initially charming and attentive, but would gradually become critical and emotionally withholding. Every relationship followed the same script: intense beginning, gradual withdrawal from him, her trying harder to please, eventual explosion, or silent breakup. Silent. Jessica couldn't understand why she never attracted the stable, emotionally available men she claimed to want. During our work together, we discovered that her father, while loving, had been a perfectionist who withheld approval unless she achieved at exceptionally high levels. Jessica's nervous system had been conditioned to associate love with having to prove her worthiness, so men who were freely giving felt foreign and unexciting to her. The journey to attracting the right person begins with what I call conscious attraction. Becoming aware of your unconscious patterns and actively choosing to rewire them. This isn't about forcing yourself to be attracted to people you're not drawn to, but rather about understanding why you're drawn to certain types and expanding your capacity to recognize and appreciate healthier forms of connection. The first step is conducting what I call an attraction audit. Look back at your past relationships and identify the common patterns. What traits did these people share? How did they make you feel in the beginning versus the end? What role did you typically play in these relationships? Were you the pursuer or the pursued? The fixer or the one who needed fixing? Write these patterns down without judgment. This is simply information gathering to understand your unconscious programming. Next, examine your relationship with yourself. The truth is, we can only attract people who are at our level of emotional health and self-awareness. If you struggle with self-worth, you'll likely attract people who either mirror that struggle or who prey upon it. If you're not comfortable with your own emotions, you'll probably attract people who are either emotionally shut down or dramatically chaotic. This isn't about becoming perfect before you date. It's about being honest about your areas of growth and actively working on them. Self-love isn't a cliché. It's a practical necessity for healthy attraction. When you genuinely like and respect yourself, you naturally expect to be treated with kindness and respect by others. Your energy shifts from desperate or needy to grounded and confident. People can sense this shift, and it makes you magnetic to those who are also emotionally healthy while simultaneously repelling those who are looking for someone to manipulate or control. Boundaries are absolutely crucial in attracting the right person. Healthy people respect boundaries and actually feel safer with people who have them. Unhealthy people, on the other hand, will test, push, and try to violate your boundaries. By maintaining clear, consistent boundaries from the very beginning, you're essentially screening for emotional maturity. If someone gets angry or pushy when you express a boundary, that's valuable information about their character. Jessica's transformation illustrates this beautifully. As she worked on healing her relationship with herself and recognizing her worth independent of achievement, her attraction patterns began to shift. She started noticing men who were consistently kind rather than just charming in bursts. The first time she went on a date with someone who complimented her without her having to earn it, she felt almost uncomfortable. Her system wasn't used to receiving love so freely. But instead of running from this discomfort, she stayed curious about it and allowed herself to explore what healthy attraction could feel like. Understanding attachment styles is another key piece of conscious attraction. If you have an anxious attachment style, you might find yourself drawn to people with avoidant attachment because they trigger your activation system, making you feel alive and engaged. However, this combination typically creates a painful pursue-withdraw dynamic. Learning to recognize and appreciate the calm, steady energy of someone with secure attachment might feel boring at first, but it's actually what creates lasting, fulfilling relationships. The concept of growing edges is particularly important in conscious dating. Your growing edge is the area where you need to develop in order to have the relationship you truly desire. Maybe you need to learn to be more vulnerable, more independent, better with boundaries, or more emotionally regulated. The right person for you will be someone whose growing edges complement yours. Someone you can grow with rather than someone who keeps you stuck in old patterns. Physical attraction often gets overlooked in discussions about conscious dating, but it's important to address. You don't need to force attraction to someone you're not drawn to, but it's worth examining what you consider attractive and why. Are you only attracted to people who fit a very narrow physical type? Do you equate drama with passion? Are you dismissing potentially wonderful partners because they don't match a superficial checklist? Sometimes expanding our definition of attractiveness allows us to see beauty in people we might have overlooked. Energy and vibration aren't just spiritual concepts, they're observable phenomena. When you're operating from a place of desperation, neediness, or fear, you emit a certain energy that attracts people who either want to take advantage of that vulnerability or who are operating from similar places of lack. When you're grounded in your own worth, pursuing your own growth, and genuinely happy with your life, you radiate a different kind of energy that attracts people who are also whole and healthy. This is why the advice to work on yourself first isn't just self-help fluff. It's practical strategy. When you're genuinely content with your own company, have hobbies and interests that fulfill you, maintain meaningful friendships, and have a sense of purpose beyond finding a romantic partner, you naturally become more attractive to emotionally healthy people. You also become less tolerant of poor treatment because you're not desperate for any connection. The role of intuition in conscious dating cannot be overstated. Many people ignore their gut feelings in favor of logical checklists or social expectations. But your body holds wisdom about people that your mind might miss. That uneasy feeling in your stomach, the way you feel drained after spending time with someone, the sense that something is off, even when you can't put your finger on it. These are all valuable sources of information. Learning to trust your intuitive responses while also understanding your unconscious patterns is a delicate balance, but an essential skill. Timing plays a crucial role in attracting the right person. There's a difference between being ready for a relationship and being desperate for one. When you're desperate, you'll often compromise your standards, ignore red flags, or try to force compatibility where it doesn't exist. When you're truly ready, you approach dating with curiosity rather than urgency, standards rather than desperation, and discernment rather than fantasy. Creating space for the right person to enter your life sometimes means saying no to the wrong ones. Every moment you spend with someone who isn't right for you is a moment you're not available for someone who could be. This doesn't mean being impossibly picky, but it does mean being honest about fundamental incompatibilities and not trying to force relationships that don't flow naturally. The paradox of conscious attraction is that the less desperate you are to find someone, the more likely you are to attract the right person. This happens because desperation clouds your judgment and makes you accept situations that aren't truly fulfilling. When you approach dating from a place of wholeness rather than neediness, you make better choices and present your authentic self rather than a version designed to please. Remember that attracting the right person isn't about manipulating or tricking someone into being with you. It's about becoming the most authentic, healthy version of yourself and trusting that the right person will recognize and appreciate that authenticity. It's about healing your own wounds so you don't unconsciously seek someone to heal them for you. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you naturally repel people who don't see it. If this message resonates with you, if you're ready to break free from old patterns and attract genuine, lasting love into your life, then I invite you to continue this journey with us. Subscribe to Self-Mind, hit that notification bell, and join our community of people committed to conscious dating and healthy relationships. In our next video, we'll dive deep into recognizing red flags versus green flags in early dating, so you won't want to miss it. Remember, you deserve love that feels good, safe, and authentic. And it all starts with the relationship you have with yourself.